Hey everybody, it's your girl, PJamma, with PJamma Life. And today we have a great batch of things that we are reviewing. We have the penultimate episode of Boba Fett, and the great new comedy Abbott Elementary, and the new superhero drama Naomi on the CW. So let's say hey to our fellas here today. Let's start off with Grogu's dad, David.
Hello, everybody. Great to have you joining us. Now, you can watch us warm or you can watch us cold, but you have to watch us. Excited to be
You're
here.
on the East Coast. It's cold.
It is. It is. Now, I've got my Mary Tyler Moore flip or my Grogu look, as PJamma Life was saying. But great to be here. Great to have you with us tonight. So let it go. Let's go.
Yeah. And we have our guru of all things Marvel. Say hey to the people, Pat.
Hey, everybody. You know, Dave, the only thing that would have made that better is if you started talking like Yoda for the rest of the episode. Think you are funny, do you? Yeah.
Idea you might have.
Yes. Idea I may have, yes. We should both do it, and Pam will just have to sit in the middle of it and listen to us. Oh, my God.
Oh, that would be funny.
That would not
funny.
Be
that would
good.
be.
I think it would be terrible.
Wrong you are.
Hey, it's Tim Windsor. Hey, Tim Windsor. Good to see you. All right. Well, let's get ahead with our clip of Boba Fett. A stranger comes from the desert.
I'm here at the request of Fennec Shand.
Thanks to him and Chrysanthemum, we now have enough experienced muscle to act as enforcers. But we lack the numbers to cover our territory if an all-out war comes. We need foot soldiers.
I might be able to help with that.
Oh my God, this episode. Okay, David, hit us with that Star Wars knowledge.
So much going on in this episode. Lots of first time since. This is the most action-packed episode we've seen. In fact, there was more action in this, how many ever minutes this was, I think, compared to the first, how many ever episodes we're on. I think we're on 6 or 7 now. Mm-hmm. This was everything else. I mean, you remember that episode where Boba Fett just he got up, had a dream, and then went to town, and then went back into his bacta tank, and that was it? Man, this was crazy. We saw lots of folks. We saw the great work that Favreau and them have done on the CGI of Luke Skywalker. Maybe after last year, you might have seen on YouTube, there was a guy that said, hey, let's see if we can do this. And you know what? He did it better. He redid the scene. And what did Jon Favreau and Lucasfilm do? What did Disney do? They hired the guy. And now you're seeing, that's right. When somebody does a good job, it's like, we're not threatened. We're not angry. We're going to hire you. And it looked beautiful. A lot of money went into bringing to life the Luke Skywalker as the Jedi that we always kind of wanted to see. Nothing compares to the season 2 ending for me, because that just really revitalized this great hero. But amazing to see him. We saw Ahsoka, and we're going to be seeing an Ahsoka show in the not too distant future. Rosario Dawson reprising her role. Cobb Vanth back at the beginning. A little controversy with the author who kind of created this character from the books. He did not get any kind of credit in the episode. He's a little upset about that.
Yeah.
A little courtesy there. But the big thing, Clone Wars fans, Cad Bane. The first time we've seen a Duros in Star Wars since 1977, with a little moment there with Ellers Maddock, as his name is. But we saw Cad Bane come to life. Hat looks a little smaller than what I pictured, what most
I
of us
thought
would
that
say.
But it
But
was an amazing CGI or makeup, or I couldn't tell, but I was like, wow, this looks just like from the Clone Wars. I was like,
amazing.
wow.
Then, of course, the actor
Incredible.
reprising the voice role of it,
Yes.
the gangster. I mean, we've always seen kind of like Star Wars as kind of a samurai film or a American Western. American
Yeah.
Westerns have really kind of taken from the samurai films themselves. Maybe a little too Western, too space cowboy there, maybe for some people. But it was fantastic. You had, the high noon kind of shootout.
Yeah.
First time I think we've ever seen spice in its form. Spice in its
Yeah.
glow. Never seen spice in anything. We always hear about it, the smuggling,
Oh.
but I don't recall ever seeing it in the films, comics and stuff. There's been stuff. A fun episode, action packed. You noticed on the Naboo starfighter, instead of a droid thing in the back, there's this little bubble area. You know who that back seat's for. So we're going to see some of that, I think, next week. Or at least he's got the seat for him ready.
Yeah.
Good episode, exciting.
Yeah.
Boba Fett, where did you go though? Man, this is your show, and like he was there. He had as much screen time here as he had in The Empire Strikes Back, which really is small.
Wow.
But a fun episode.
Man. So Pat, hit us with it. What do you think?
There's not much I can add to that. I would just go ahead and say, holy hell, the age regression software is on point. It was ridiculous how good that looked. I was like, oh my God, that's Luke Skywalker right after Return of the Jedi. Yeah. Oh my God, this is so good looking. And I couldn't get over how good looking. And then the Western feel with the very intro with Timothy Oliphant, doing the I'm the sheriff type of thing, and it was straight out of every Western, you've seen and loved when you grew up. And then to see Cad Bane come in, ooh, that was so good. I was like, holy hell, look at that hat. I know who the hell that is. When the hat, you saw the hat coming and you knew who it was, because they are not afraid to get the stuff out of the Clone Wars and bring it into this, because after I saw that episode, I spent 2 days rewatching as much of the Clone Wars as I could, because I'm like, yes, this is it. This is what I'm talking about right here. They're doing a good job. And they had that incredible cameo of what's his name? Boba Fett. He was in it for a few minutes. I saw him there. I was like, oh my God, we got Boba Fett in the show too. It was cool.
I know, right?
It was a great cameo for this, season 2.5 of The Mandalorian, which, pretty solid.
He had 4 chapters. Come on now. He had 4 chapters. That's good.
What's his damn show? He should have all the chapters. Call me crazy. I don't know. They should have called it the Book of the Boba Fett and the Mandalorian, maybe in subtitles. I don't know.
It is a little surprising. And what a difference in tone from the first episodes to when Mando comes on. It's stark. It really is stark difference between those episodes and here.
Yeah,
and it's obviously a planned thing, because this stuff's been in the can for a while. They're putting it out. They knew they were going this way. They gave us the big head fake by telling us it's going to be the Book of Boba Fett. And you're like, oh my God, Boba Fett. We'll do 4 episodes, make you think it's going to be Boba Fett. It's a Mandalorian, actually. Thanks.
They had to give him, somewhat half of the series was Boba Fett, and then they got to get back to the moneymaker, Grogu and the Mandalorian. But I was just like over the moon. I mean, you have all the feels with this. I mean, you're happy and elated, and you're sad and very sad, and then you're like mad at that stupid deputy. Like one of the
Barney Fife.
Oh,
so you don't give him one bullet.
Jackass. And
Citizens arrest. Citizens arrest.
And then the bar. And then, I don't know if I should spoil it for people. I won't spoil it.
Oh my God, if they're watching this and they watched it, I don't know what's wrong with them.
Right.
Keep going.
They need to have watched.
It's on them. It's been out 3 or 4 days. It's on them. Go on.
Okay. How you gonna kill my girl? How you gonna kill my she's Jennifer Fields. You
We
don't think
don't
so?
know.
I
I
don't
think
know,
she
but
made it.
her
I
face
think she
and
made it.
her body better look the same. That's all I gotta say. They better not. She's one of the best characters on here, and we need her strong presence. I love her. Don't do it to us, Disney Plus. You better not do it to us. But I also thought, Ahsoka, man, was she just perfect in this? I just thought, what she had to say to the Mandalorian was just so poignant. And then when you see her next to Luke Skywalker advising him the way his father advised her, that was like a full circle moment. And how but then I started thinking, I was like, okay, so Luke Skywalker in this is what, maybe 24, maybe 23, 20, maybe
Mid
at the
twenties,
most,
mid 20s.
mid
Mid
20s,
20s.
maybe.
I think this is
And
about 3 to 5 years after Return of the Jedi.
yeah, because he was so young when it all started. So,
So it might be
you
30s,
know,
maybe 30.
yeah, I don't even think he's 30. And then,
Maybe.
I'd say somewhere between 25 and 28 would be my
yeah,
guess.
yeah. And then Ahsoka, I mean, she's got to be, what would you guys say, in her late 30s at this point?
Well,
I mean,
it's
I don't
how
know.
old
no,
was she?
maybe 40s.
And
Like,
it depends on what depends on what the aging process of her species is.
yeah,
Right.
but just
She was a
time, just thinking of it in terms of years,
right.
she would have to be like in her, like,
Well, so
late 30s, early 40s.
This is at
she
least.
was
Well, go ahead, Pat.
she was a Padawan during the Clone Wars, so that meant she was in their teens throughout the Clone Wars.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Clone Wars end. You got the massacre by Darth Vader / Anakin, and then she goes into hiding for a couple decades. Compared, if
Oh,
you
so
look at
she might even be.
if you look at Obi-Wan's age in the beginning of Star Wars versus what he was at the end of Revenge of the Sith, you have him. Hell, he's added 30 years. It looks like,
Yeah.
from the time to that to there. So there's 30 years of aging for Ahsoka during that whole period
Yeah.
before you get to the original trilogy. So then you got another 6 years of that, from the time
Yeah.
Luke, runs off to Alderaan and the time he destroys Vader. So I mean,
Yeah.
you're looking at, she could be kind of old, but her
like,
species may age
yeah.
differently, like Yoda.
But that's not what I was saying. Her looks. I was thinking of how mature she is in her.
Yeah, she's
wisdom.
got a lot of years under her belt.
She got, some wisdom. So, she could have just said, hey, get out of here. And, no, but she stopped, took the time to explain, this is why I'm saying this to you.
Right.
This is why this choice has to be made. And I just thought that was so wonderful that now she comes with, from seeing her in Clone Wars, then to see this fully realized Ahsoka, who's full of knowledge and wisdom and experience about what can happen when someone with the Force goes untrained or has a attachment that then turns them to the dark side. So I just thought that was great to set that up for the next one.
I love seeing her, but Luke, who at least up until we got to the end of Return of the Jedi was going to be the greatest Jedi because he ended it. I mean, Palpatine really is dead. I just want to let everybody know what happened.
Yeah.
That's a Bobby in the shower kind of moment. Those last.
I disagree, but we will come back to that.
You were wrong, Pam. Me and Dave are both right.
But he had attachments. He had attachments.
So, let David finish his point.
But he had attachments, and so I mean, because he grew up with Owen and Beru, and he was really close to Ben. He was close to his sister, which he didn't realize was a sister, but we don't want to go there. So I thought it was a fascinating thing that Luke was kind of adopting the old Jedi way, which, all right, it's fascinating. But I agree with what you're saying with Ahsoka. She is fantastic. I love to see the arc of this character through the Clone Wars, and I'm really pumped to see what we see of her in her new show whenever
Yeah.
that debuts here on
Yeah.
Disney Plus.
Yeah, I just think that the way, and of course, why was it great? Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau wrote it, and Dave Filoni directed it. So you knew it was going to be, super incredible, which it was. And so, definitely looking forward to the next week, which will be the finale. So let's check it out. Definitely don't miss it. I've watched it. I've watched this episode 3 times already. How about you, David?
Probably 3 or 4. I think
Yeah.
I did go to bed with it one night, so I think I
Yeah.
kind of fell asleep before Cad Bane drew.
Yeah,
But it was fun.
Yeah.
I
How
couldn't
about
see
you?
it.
How
You
about
saw
you,
it before
Pat?
me.
Yeah.
I watched it twice.
Twice.
Well,
And
I
I
had other
found
things to
something
watch. I'm watching
new
other
the
stuff.
third
This ain't the only
time.
thing I'm watching. It was great, and I dug back into the Clone Wars. What I did, so yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens next on the finale of Boba Fett next week. Watch right here. You know it's gonna be crazy.
Yeah.
So next, moving on to 3 of our loves, which is teaching. You got 3 educators here. So let's take a look at Quinta Bunson's new series, Abbott Elementary, on ABC.
Okay, everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, except for Andrew, who is taking a principled stand against nationalism. Yes. All right. I'm Janine Teagues. I've been teaching 2nd grade here at Abbott Elementary for a year now.
Mr. Johnson will be watching her class.
Wait, so Mr. Johnson, the janitor?
That's who runs the world, kids.
The new teacher track record here isn't great, but ultimately, we are passionate and capable of doing this job.
I'm Gregory Eddy. I'm the sub for the teacher who punted a student.
Oh, you're the sub. Forgive me, I thought one of my colleagues here hired a stripper for me.
Hey, nice job.
That's right. Nice job.
Courtney, go back to your seat.
But I'm done with all my work.
Okay, so if the store has 10 potatoes, right? And you take away 2 of them, how many potatoes would the store have?
Janine, what did I say about taking my potatoes from the lunchroom? Guess what? Now you have 0 potatoes.
I just thought that was the most adorable. Pat, since you are actively in a classroom right now, talk about how Abbott Elementary rings to you.
Okay, I really liked it because I felt that the teachers were well drawn, I guess is the word I'm looking for, I guess, because they were well characterized. It was a little formulaic, but it was a good formula, and they picked good people to do it. I have a problem with the consistent. Well, okay, just to compare and contrast a little bit with American Auto that we watched a couple weeks ago, which was another formula ensemble comedy with similar interchangeable type of things, but the people I didn't give a crap about there because nobody seemed to know what they were doing. Where at least you saw people trying to teach, and so you felt like it was a little bit more realistic in the fact that it was, put in there with people that were trying to do. But the consistent conceit of having the boss as a complete ninny is just yes, everybody likes to make fun of the boss. I get it. That was kind of, she was a throwaway character, totally. Everybody else I thought pretty good
absolutely, I disagree. She is hilarious.
Well, I don't care. So no, it was just the same. It's the same thing you always say. Oh, my boss is a dummy. She got there because she knows somebody. It's lazy writing. That was lazy writing. Everything else felt good. Overall, I would give it a high B. I mean, it was a solid B plus show. I enjoyed it. I felt connection with all the characters, but I felt that was just a lazy option for that particular character.
So. Go ahead, David. What do you think?
It is a fun show. There is a formula to it. So, I mean, and they're kind of modeling after The Office and Modern Family with the docu-series aspect, which was novel at first, but it's almost like you almost expect it. If the characters don't talk to you anymore directly to the camera, it's a little off. But I think it's cute. I love the archetypes. I won't call them stereotypes, but archetypes of the great teachers and things and the goofiness. I do think that there's some fun things there. It's cute. that we're going to see the romance between the permanent sub and the idealistic young ladies at some point soon. It's a cute show. It's fun. I realize I don't watch that many 30-minute sitcoms anymore. So it's a different, it's like, oh, well, this takes me back to like 2001. So it was fun. I think it's a good show, good actors, and a neat effort.
Yeah, and I mean, you've got some star power. The young man who plays the sub is Chris from Everybody Hates Chris.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Williams. He's all grown up, So it's like, oh my gosh, look at him.
He became a teacher. Up. Oh.
When one of the successful sitcoms in a long time, that went for several years. And the great Shirley Ralph as the experienced kindergartner teacher. I forget her name, but she's fantastic to get. And that woman never ages. I'm gonna tell you what, that woman looks just as good now as when she was in Dreamgirls back in the day. She was the original. Was she Effie? I think she was the original Effie in Dreamgirls. Wow. On Broadway, and she is just fantastic in this role. And Quinta Brunson, I'm loving seeing her now in her own series. She was in Black Lady Sketch Show in the first series, that Emmy-nominated show on HBO. And if you haven't seen that, that is one of the funniest sketch shows out there. And she started as a YouTuber and doing little funny videos, and then she was in BuzzFeed videos for a long time, and then her star power just grew and grew, and now she's got her own show that she created. So more power to her. And let me say, this month is African American History Month, so we are featuring throughout the month shows and movies that feature African American characters, writers, directors, stories. So this is one of our entries into the Black History Month, and I'm glad. I think this is something very positive that the whole family can watch. But if you listen at it, it's also talking about some of the issues and problems in our American school system. This week was talking about gifted programs and funding for education and having to deal with unruly kids. I have to say, the little girl in the clip who was like, but I'm finished with all my work. That was exactly me at that age. I was never disrespectful like these kids are in the school, but getting up, finishing my work fast, and then like, I want to help the teacher. I want to do something was exactly me. And I got called to the principal's office and all this kind of stuff. But then they had to figure out I needed more work because I was already like finished because it was so easy. So definitely that hit home for me. But I think it's look at the show too, not just for the laughs, but for some of the messages it gives about the difficulties into being a teacher in today's education system, which I think translates for everyone to enjoy, but also think about, and something we need to work on in our states. Okay.
Well said.
Yeah. So, and also I was given a dare by someone to have blue hair. So I am doing blue hair. Challenge accepted and defeated. So let's take a look at our next drama for new on the CW, featuring a young African-American girl who discovers she has superpowers on the CW's Naomi.
We all look at the world through our own lens. What if everything you believed about the world turned out to be wrong? If we truly opened up our eyes, what would we see? Every superhero has an origin story, and this is mine.
I think his arrival might be tied to the emergence of their powers. They could be acting as a magnet.
So there might be others that will come. I don't know what is happening to me. All I know is that it is happening.
Oh, so I'll start. I like this show. I was really surprised. I think it's a familiar tale, right? Of a superhero from another planet who is now, and just to say, the CW is featuring all 4 episodes free on their app. So if you haven't seen this beyond the first one, you can see them for free on the CW app this month. And I thought it was cute. I was like, oh, isn't this cute? And the actress, I think her name is Casey Westfall. She's adorable and she's a really good actress. And I think the story is moving at a pretty good pace. And I think that the themes of it are definitely DC universe kind of themes, with a superhero alien on Earth trying to discover who they are, and they even made her adopted. So I was like, oh, is she from Krypton? I don't know. That would be awesome if she's from Krypton, and then we could see her flying around. I would be loving that. So I think I'm gonna keep watching it on the CW. It's something light. It's easy. It's not all dark, and not yet anyway. But big names associate. Ava DuVernay is the executive producer and wrote and directed some of the episodes. And she did A Wrinkle in Time and The Great Greenleaf on OWN. And I think she was Oscar nominated for the 13th documentary. I think that got an Oscar nomination.
Okay.
So powerhouse, the first female director to direct $100 million plus movie. So pretty strong background. So we'll see. David, what did you think?
I think overall I liked it. The fact that it wasn't too kind of dark or kind of tragic. There's been an effort here to kind of like, well, what's all this issue? Like how tough it is to be a superhero and all is. I thought that it handled this, the origin story of this character, I think, in a much happier, friendly way.
Yeah.
And I also think, I think it's good to see strong female characters. You hear the conversations on, and on the internet and sometimes different YouTube channels that are out there. And it's like, well, the male heroes are being put off to the side and you can't find those. And I think there needs to be a good balance so that there are role models for young boys as well as young girls. But I like this character. I like this show. I think it's one that, while I'm not a huge fan of the superhero genre, so I'm the anti-Patrick maybe on that case of it a little bit.
And anti-Batman. What are you talking about?
Not against him, but I mean, I'm less of the on the hero genre, but it's fun. I think this is a neat one, and because I think too many times these stories have to start off with the origin story. I can't stand it. It's like sometimes, hey, let's just have the hero and have fun, and that's kind of where I'm at. But I think this is a good show, and I encourage people to give it a chance and see what happens with this young lady. I do think she's a good actress. I enjoyed her.
Yeah. And it's a great multicultural cast as well. And there was something else in there I didn't quite care for, but Pat, go ahead and talk about what you thought about Naomi.
Okay. As a superhero fan, I just didn't care about any of that. The CW production values are such crap. I mean, I can tell you could show me 10 films or 10 TV series, and I can pick the CW one out of every one of them because they all look the same. I mean, come on, you got money, do something that looks not the same. Same kind of, it looks just like when I watched The Flash. I got tired of it because even though I love The Flash, I love superhero stuff, it just got tired. And this feels like it's going to be tired real quick. I mean, it's that same feeling. Maybe it's just because the way CW does stuff. It just it didn't grab me. I wanted to like it. I do. I love superhero stuff, and I wanted to love it, but I fell asleep in it, man. It was so boring.
Oh, wow.
I thought to me.
Boo.
And now let me finish. I know that Pam's going to disagree because Pam is a liker. Pam likes everything. I bet if we go through if we go back through our archives of the videos, I bet you can find. I bet I can count on one hand out of a year's worth of things Pam didn't like, and she liked. Oh, maybe 2. I might go up. I might go up to 10. I might be up to 10. Maybe 10.
Well, I do
Dave's
try
agreeing with me over there on the other side. I can see him doing it quietly.
Well, she liked Mortal Kombat.
Well,
yeah, I
what
know exactly.
I do try to do is present both the positive and negatives about something.
I got the negative. You handle all the positives.
You good on negatives. You got the negatives completely down. We got you for the negative voice. But I'll try and find something redeeming if I can about something. So, and that's okay. But I think with this one, what's important too is that there's a young African American superhero girl that we're seeing that you don't see. The CW has been a leader in showing that with their live action stuff, because you have the Stars and Black Lightning and Titans and Batwoman, I think, is now a young African American woman. So it's good to see that kind of rolling out of a new kind of superhero. So for that alone, I'm a represent and I'm a watch. But then I just kind of like the story. One problem with it though, it's kind of like this is the most self-actualized 16-year-old I've ever seen. She is perfect. And I'm like, can they I'm not saying have her just completely morose and like down, but I never met a teenager who was just so no. But like, I'm like, really? Everything's fine? You got great grades. You got 3 or 4 love interests. You got
get along with parents and everything. Yeah.
You running for president. Everybody loves you. I was like, huh? She don't have
one. Like that. I kind of like the fact that we didn't have some dark, brooding, because I always want to tell kids, because I had those issues in high school, like all of us. But you know what I always want to say to kids? It's like, dude, it really doesn't matter where you sit in the lunchroom. It's okay. It really doesn't matter who you're talking to. It will get better.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But it was just kind of funny to me. This girl was just perfect. And I mean, I get sick of seeing dark, disturbing kind of superhero stuff. So don't get me wrong, but that one I was just kind of like, come on now. She did. She didn't have one fight with her parents. She didn't have
Pollyanna.
She was even nice to the enemy guy.
It's the CW formula. That's what they do.
Yeah, and
it's like I know you're from the South, Dave, and Pam. You grew up around here. I mean, how many of y'all had Divinity? That candy you get at Christmas is like, it's air. Sweet air is what it is. It's like sweet air. That CW is the sweet air. It's the Divinity of TV. It's a lot of it looks solid and it looks like it's something you're going to eat, but it's like air. It's got a little bit of marshmallow flavor to it. That's it.
Well, if you want something dark, go check out Doom Patrol. That will definitely satisfy your darker.
Cleanse the palate. Yes.
Yeah, it will. Boy, will it. That show is wild and weird and wacky. So, but definitely, I think give Naomi a chance. We need to see this kind of positive images out there in the world. There's enough negativity out there, particularly for young Black people. So, definitely, if it's positive, I'm watching it. So, join me in watching Naomi. Or if you want something with more bite, listen to Pat.
Wrong. You can't even point the right way. Wrong.
There
you go. There you go.
That guy, he'll let you know what's something darker if you want that darker palette. So that brings us to the end of the show today. And join us next week where we'll be watching the Catching Up with Peacemaker. Well, also, of course, the finale of Boba Fett. The NBC show Grand Crew, and the Shakespearean drama with Denzel Washington and Frances McDormand, The Tragedy of Macbeth. And if we can sneak in, the Oscars come out next week, the list. And so we'll talk about which ones we thought were good and which ones not. And definitely, if you have a chance, check out the Winter Olympics are here, live from Beijing. And I can say I was in Beijing a couple of years ago, and I saw the bird's nest and the bubble building and all that stuff in the Olympic Village. So it was really beautiful, and go Team USA. So David and Patrick, you want to say some final words?
So long, everybody. Can't wait to talk to you about what is going to be an epic week next week, not only with the Book of Boba, but Denzel Washington may be up for another Academy Award in The Tragedy of Macbeth. Zounds, I say, let loose the dogs of war. My dog is already ready to be loosed.
Yeah. And Pat, you got any final words for us?
I don't want to appear negative, but no, just everybody go out and be positive and have a good time. And life is beautiful all the time. Call me Dr. Pangloss if you wish. So there you go.
That's right. Get on board the positivity train. Choo, choo. And we'll see you next time. Don't forget, wear your mask, get your vaccine, and social distance so we can all join each other again. So see you next time.
So long, everybody.